Hey, what's going on, Flicks Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review. Now, I wanted to give you my thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So I'm just going to do a quick little speech and spiel before I go and see this movie. And I am purchasing a ticket in IMAX to check this one out. Now, the last time I did check that one out, was for another Marvel movie, Black Widow, which I had some, thoughts about as well. It was an origin story for the most part. I mean, that was a character that we did know. Now, the difference is we're jumping into a new origin story of a character that no one knows, unless you kind of know his lore from the comics and whatnot, which I absolutely don't. So I'm going to this with fresh eyes, but I think it will be interesting, a movie of a Marvel caliber, to kind of showcase a more Asian-based cast, and this is something that we have not seen yet from Marvel, so I definitely commend them on doing that. Plus, this is also from an actor that I do not know too much about. So Simu Liu, I'm very, very excited. Awkwafina, I know, and most of us know about her. Yeoh as well. But there are going to be some more unrecognizable faces that I really hope razzle dazzle me. But just kind of going into this, I am expecting the caliber of budget that Marvel likes to bring to the table. So I'm sure they're going to razzle dazzle me in that department when we see the rings in action. So I like to also see a structure of a nice solid backstory. I think there's going to be some family conflict in there just based on the trailers, so I hope they do get a chance to tug at my heartstrings just a little bit, so I feel for these characters that we are watching in the couple of hours that we get to spend some time with them. So enough of me talking, guys. I'm just going to go in this with high hopes, and even though this film does have a 91% currently on Rotten Tomatoes, that doesn't mean anything. I'm going to give you guys my honest review when I come out of this theater, my honest thoughts, spoiler free, so I don't ruin it for you guys that are going to be checking it out this weekend or next weekend or whenever you guys get a chance. But I would appreciate if you guys could give me a big thumbs up to like the video. It's the best way to support the channel, and make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe and bell notification down below to always get alerted about future videos like this. So Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, here I go.
Two hours later.
All right, Flicks Talkers, and I am back home. Just got out of seeing Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in IMAX, and I will just say off the bat, this is probably the best way I could have seen this movie. Immersed in the huge screen, crystal clear picture. I believe this movie was formatted for IMAX, so once again, that's the best way you can see it if you guys choose to watch it in theaters, especially immersed with that sound. Man, I was feeling every single punch. But before I get into this, guys, let me start from the beginning. Let me start just from the beginning. I have so many thoughts racing through my head. Yes, a lot of you guys know that I am a Marvel fanboy, and I may be a little biased when it comes to certain things, but I do have a lot to say and kind of pick this movie apart. Good, bad, mostly a lot of good. As you guys can tell, I'm very, very excited. So let's just start from the beginning. So the characters that we got introduced to, we get a lot of flashbacks. We get young Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, and we get his interaction with his father. I'm not going to say the names. I'll throw them up here on screen, by the way, when I'm talking about these characters, because I feel disrespectful butchering the names, and I don't want to do that. All right, guys? So a lot of flashbacks through young Shang-Chi's life, as well as a flash forward, and then throughout the middle of the movie we get kind of flashback again. So we're getting a lot of exposition along the way, with action scenes just kind of cut and pasted throughout, and I really did enjoy that, because a lot of people would call that jarring, but the way it was really stitched together was woven pretty tight. I will just say that's the only way I can describe it, is because a lot of people would get upset at flashing forward, flashing back, certain memory scenes, whatever have you. It could be a bit jarring for most people, but I felt that it was seamless, and it didn't really suck me out too much of what was happening in that present moment. Now, the character of Shang-Chi himself was awesome because we got to see him from a young age being influenced by his dad and his teenage years, and then we flash forward to present day 2021 and we get to see him roughly around, I want to see age 24 25 in San Francisco, California, just north of me, and we got to see what became of his life after he left his dad's shadow, so to speak. Once again, this is a non-spoiler review, so I'm not going to be talking about specific details integral to the plot or anything that you see outside of the trailer. So just know that, guys. As well as we're introduced to his friend Katie, played by Awkwafina, who is his best friend pretty much, and he's known her his whole time. He's been in America, I believe. So they have a really, really fun bond right out the gate. You guys know me and Awkwafina don't really mesh too well, but I loved her in The Farewell because it's her most dramatic film. And everything that I've seen her in is just kind of overplayed out, dry humor sometimes where we get these extended scenes. So I was like, oh no, what are we going to get from Miss Awkwafina? I will say this. In this movie, she does shine. Not only in the comedic aspect, but there are some more deep, impactful, emotional scenes that she does get a little bit invested in. And she kind of does, you know, help along the way. At first, I thought she was going to be a very expendable, disposable friend character, but she proved to be more than that. Now, the character that does play the dad, I thought he was an extremely, extremely strong, almost a lead. I mean, you know, we know the lead is Shang-Chi, but I guess it's, you know, he's kind of the lead for the elder folks, you know, the older folks, the dad. He's the dad. So there was a lot of screen time with him, and I really did like his performance. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. I don't think I have, but I thought when he was speaking, he was very commanding of, you know, this 10 rings that he has developed. And when it showed him in action, you know, he was a force to be reckoned with, and it really showed that these 10 rings had a hold over him, and, you know, he kind of went to the dark side. He went to the dark side. I'm trying to speak about this without alluding to any spoilers whatsoever. So we got to see his progression, what he's kind of went through in life to change, and events that did unfold with him and the family. We're also introduced to Simu Liu's, Shang-Chi's sister in the movie, and she did a fantastic job as well. They show a flashback of her, and they show her present day, what she's been up to. And she's also a character I don't think I've seen ever in life, but she was kicking ass along the way. She kind of had a little homage scene to my girl Gogo Yubari in Kill Bill Volume 1, one of my favorite Quentin Tarantino films of all time. You guys will see it with the spike ball. I'll just say that. I'm just going to say that. But I thought it was a very, very fun interaction with these characters. Also, Michelle Yeoh, who we got to see, who plays the auntie. I don't know if they talk about that in the trailer, so I'm sorry if I did spoil that. I don't think it's much of a spoiler, but we do know that she's part of the movie, but she is introduced as the auntie of Shang-Chi. So I thought they had a really good interaction, especially in the third act of the film. It was very believable, very plausible. Well, maybe not plausible, because the third act of this movie definitely turns, you know, very fantasy. So that's one thing I did want to kind of jump to after expressing my love for the characters and the character development, was the fantasy realm of everything. I feel like if you guys are fans of Lord of the Rings, if you guys are fans of just Asian cinema, as far as like a Crouching Tiger, or just where they're talking about, you know, just dynasty movies where you're talking about timepieces of dragons and, you know, crossbows and lore of that nature, I think you guys would dig something like this, even if you're possibly not a Marvel fan. So I really did like that aspect of everything. Now, when it came to the action scenes, wow, right out the gate, we're thrown into an action scene. Then 20 minutes later, we're thrown into an action scene. Then 20 minutes later, we're thrown into an action scene. The pacing was extremely well. I thought this was a very, very good origin story, especially coming off of the Black Widow origin story, which had its more slow points in it than this film did, for sure. I will say that. There was like 10 minutes of downtime in the third act, which was totally justifiable from all the action that we got previous, whereas in a Black Widow, I felt like there was way more downtime than some of the action scenes. But that's just me personally. I did like Black Widow, but I will say, I mean, we're already almost 10 minutes into this review, I will say that I preferred this film over Black Widow. I will say that. It was a great, great origin story. Now, the one thing I didn't really care for was some of the, and I know it's being a little bit nitpicky, but there's a bus scene that you guys do see in the trailer. There was even a whole clip of it on YouTube that you guys can check out, where Shang-Chi kind of fights for the first time these assassins. And a lot of the shots, especially the side angle shots, I don't even know what you call that. I just know it as like a side scroller from growing up with retro video games. It looked very video gamey. It looked very video gamey in the sense of maybe it just wasn't processed that well, but it didn't really look like a human. It looked like almost like a CGI dummy at times. And usually they do that for really quick shots when something isn't believable. So he's doing a lot of, flying kicks and whatnot, and you know that he can't achieve that, especially at the rate that he's going, because he's supposed to be superhuman, unlocking these powers, and it is kind of noticeable, I will say that. So there is a couple of questionable CGI scenes along the way, and by the time you hit the third act, you've totally lost yourself into this movie, and you're like, dragons? Sure, why not? Creatures? Hey, why not? Oh my. It's like you kind of just have fun with it along the way. And once again, all the action scenes, hand-to-hand combat were extremely fun. The choreography, was done extremely well. And coming off of just a couple of months back, I want to say, Snake Eyes. That was another film that was hugely influenced by Asian culture and Asian cast primarily, but they did such a bad job with the fight scenes, especially the real close-up hand-to-hand. It was so shaky. It was like a Taken Liam Neeson movie. It was executed very poorly, where in this film, we don't get to see any of that choppiness. It's really close-up, and we get a lot of long shots, and we get to see that it's Simu Liu doing his damn thing, and I really did appreciate that. Not only him, but everyone else along the way, the sister, the auntie, everybody along the way. I thought it was a fantastically executed movie. Sorry, I'm already getting cotton-mouthed from just speaking about this. All my thoughts just kind of pouring out. And I guess that's pretty much it, other than letting you guys know that I will definitely be adding this on 4K to my collection. I had an extremely fun time, and that's usually hard to do with origin stories sometimes. You're getting introduced to characters that you have no clue about. We're getting a lot of backstory. And hey, we got some more Marvel tie-in, I will just say that. And stick around in Marvel fashion, guys. This time, 2 post-credit scenes, so sit that ass down and wait. I will just say that, because I think, for me, the first post-credit scene was like, oh my god, and the second one was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. But they both were meaningful to the whole 10 Rings and the introduction to Marvel and our new character that we are getting with Simu Liu and Awkwafina, for that matter. And overall, I'm just going to tell you guys my score. I'm giving Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings a solid 5 out of 5, saying you guys definitely need to check it out in IMAX. I will be watching it again in theaters, and I will be adding it to my collection soon. Alright, Flix Talkers, what did you think of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? When you do see it, let me know in the comments below. And what did you guys rank it out of 5? Where does it fit in the Marvel universe for you guys as far as favorite films or least favorite films? Once again, let me know in the comments below. And if you guys did appreciate my review and thoughts, let me know by liking the video. It's the best way to spread this video out to those that aren't subscribed. And if you yourself are not subscribed, consider doing so today, hitting that subscribe and bell notification today to always get alerted about future videos like this. Alright guys, till the next one, I'm gone. Peace.